Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Bianca, and visiting Switzerland has been on my travel bucket list for ages. Fortunately, after saving up some pocket money over the years, a travel opportunity came up and I knew I just had to say yes. Soon enough, it was time to pack my bags and head out. We started our journey in Kuala Lumpur, where I totally didn't expect to stumble upon a Jamie Oliver restaurant at the airport. And the thing is, if you're Malaysian, you have probably seen some content from this guy who basically trolls Mr. Oliver whenever he can. Right, I have no intentions to start any internet battles, but I gotta admit that the food critic made me particularly curious about the restaurant's menu. Thankfully, the waitress was kind enough to put up with me and my questions. Iman, is there any fried rice on the menu?
Fried rice, Tricky question, but there's no fried rice here. No fried rice here.
Okay, what do you serve instead then?
Okay, so we have pizza, partially pasta. So we have some parmigiana chicken palm, our appetizer salad inside. Again, no fried rice.
Ayo, okay. What about like pizza with chili jam?
There's no chili jam by far. We only have fruit combo, which is in breakfast.
Okay. Thanks and cheers, Iman. If your bosses are watching this, tell them I want you to get a raise. After a 16-hour journey involving at least 3 crying babies in my cabin, Disney films, and John Wick, we finally arrived at Zurich pretty exhausted. Though fortunately, the picturesque view of the capital city helped me to stay awake as we traveled to our hostel based in another city called Lucerne. Known for its medieval architecture, I basically spent the rest of the day mindlessly wandering around the old town as I recharged my social battery. Overall, it's just a beautiful city, and I particularly loved its pedestrian friendliness. If you ever happen to drop by Lucerne, I suppose some of the classic places you probably should check out would be the Lion Monument, Lake Lucerne itself, and of course the Chapel Bridge, which happens to be one of the oldest covered wooden bridges in Europe. Day 2 came around a little too quickly, but we had not much time to lose as we headed off to another town called Interlaken. If anything, this is one of the most popular tourist destinations in Switzerland, and I honestly don't think it is hard to see why. The impressive mountain scenery, crystal clear lakes, and the traditional chalet-style houses. Not to mention, the craziest part about this place is that everything looks exactly like how I imagined it to be. And mind you, I've only seen snippets of Switzerland from, say, TV, YouTube, and postcards. Oh, and speaking of TV, the South Korean drama Crash Landing on You was another reason motivating me to visit Interlaken. Okay, spoiler alert, but basically at some point in the series, the male protagonist was playing this sad yet melodious piano piece in the southern shores of Lake Brienz. That scene was filmed next to a boat stop called Harbour Isewal. If you're into romantic stuff, I guess the cool part is that the girl he will eventually fall in love with arrived at scene by ferry. And that's precisely what I did. Except, okay, I was technically on a steamboat, the piano was missing, and apparently you had to pay 5 Swiss francs just to take a photo at the pier itself. Oh well, it is what it is. Later on, it was time to check out Interlaken from a bird's eye view. So we took the funicular train and headed straight for Haderkulm, which I'm not even joking, is literally called the top of Interlaken. Also, who would have thought I could get a job offer during this trip?
Alright, now you have to close the doors.
Okay, so turn
To the right.
right. Okay.
Yes, exactly. This one too. Perfect. Now we wait until the doors are closed here.
Okay. So it's closed.
Now we have to wait until the pressure is good.
Okay.
That's the sound.
Okay. Pressure was changed. Okay. So are we ready?
Ja, Entschuldigung, ich habe nicht gehört, dass du auf das Band gehst.
Sorry, what's your name? How may I address you?
Cedric.
Cedric. Okay. I was like
Now
Ced-
you press this one.
Okay. And then we're ready to go.
Exactly. And now you press this one. Up. You've done
not bad.
everything. You can start tomorrow. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you, Cedric. Yeah.
No problem. We actually need some new colleagues. So this was your training.
Yeah.
So you have to say if you want to work with us or not.
Turns out, the viewing platform is over 1,000 meters above sea level, and you'll get a panoramic view of the mountain valley itself. Besides that, I got to try the Swiss cheese fondue for the first time, and there was even a live folklore performance where the performers were playing two musical instruments that I have never seen before. First, there was this super long horn called the alphorn. I basically just felt super out of breath just by watching them play it. And there was this other special instrument called the talastringen. I hope I'm not butchering the pronunciation, but the idea is that the music came from swirling a coin inside a special pottery bowl. Soon enough, the outdoors started to get a little too chilly, so it was time to check in at the hostel base at our next stop, Lauterbrunnen. I literally thought I was accidentally transported into some fantasy world like Narnia the moment I arrived. Like, seriously, Lauterbrunnen feels like this living fairy tale village. There was the renowned Stoutbach waterfall in the background that you could hike up to, the colourful alpine meadows stuck between the gigantic rock faces and mountain peaks. Trust me, it took me a while to soak in what I was seeing in front of me. Everything just felt so surreal. In the meantime, if you're a budget traveller like me, I would recommend staying at the Valley Hostel. First of all, there's a cat there. Second of all, they have bunk beds with power plugs right beside them, all the necessary facilities, a place to meet other travellers. It's totally worth it. And me being the Malaysian tourist that I am, having access to a kitchen stove was just what I needed to make myself instant noodles. Oh, and that too, Asian approved. We continued to explore the mountains on day 3, where we took a few trains and cable cars up to Grindelwaldfjord, which interestingly was nicknamed the Top of Adventure. I met a pleasant lady called Ermi along the way, who taught me bits of German as we ascended up into the thinner air. To some degree, the meadows greatly reminded me of the sound of music, so the music echoing across the rugged mountains was, funnily enough, the sound of cowbells. Turns out that the mountains was also a popular destination for farmers, where they would bring their cows up to graze on the high pastures. I don't speak cow, but if anything, the cows do look like they were having the time of their lives. I guess that's why Swiss cheese is so famous for their exceptional flavor and quality. Anyway, we kind of just took our own sweet time admiring the undulating fields of green as we strode to the peak. Along the way, there was this path called the First Cliff Walk, basically a metal footbridge that clings to the side of a cliff. Well, I don't know how you feel about hikes. I simply decided to trust the Swiss engineers' calculations. To be fair, they are pretty reliable and the view was absolutely stunning. Soon enough, day 4 was just around the corner. Simply put, we wanted to climb higher, and that's exactly what we did as we visited the world-famous Jungfraujoch, aka the top of Europe. Now, if you think about it, Jungfraujoch is where you can find the highest train station in Europe. It's also situated over 3,000 meters above sea level, so snow and ice are basically guaranteed. Having said that, I don't know how my brain somehow convinced itself that wearing shorts was a good idea, but that's a problem for future Bianca. In the meantime, I simply regurgitated the cold never bothered me anyway in my head, as I admired the Swiss fabulous civil engineering skills. And the view, of course, that's a given.
This is probably like the craziest thing I've ever done. It's like I'm in the middle of a snowy place and I'm just wearing shorts. Oh god. Oh well. Oh well, you only live once.
However, to kind of emphasize my point on the impressive engineering work, the entire viewing station was connected via this super sophisticated tunnel system. There were several other exhibitions within the mountain itself. I even checked out an ice palace filled with detailed ice sculptures, and you can also go out into the snow to enjoy the views of the surrounding mountains. All in all, it was a really unique experience. 10 out of 10 would recommend. And for all of the Crash Landing on You fans out there, apparently this was actually another filming location. Why Harz? If you know, you know. Overall, I found it really difficult to describe Switzerland's beauty in words, because you kind of need to come and see things for yourself to immediately realize that beautiful is a complete understatement. With that, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I hope that this vlog gave you a glimpse into the wonderful offerings of different Swiss towns and cities. And if you enjoyed it, do consider hitting the like, subscribe, and bell icon. In case you're into other kind of travel vlogs, I've actually made one covering my trip to Dubai, so do check it out if you can. Until then, I wish all of you a pleasant day ahead, be kind to yourself and others, and I shall see you in part 2 of the travel series. Bye bye!